Today, I am talking about content in the summer months. That time of year when socials can go quiet, engagement can drop, and you might wonder if it's even worth posting at all. If you're thinking, is there any point, or maybe I'll just come back to it in September, you are definitely not alone. But in this episode, I want to talk through why creating content over summer can still be really valuable. And I will also share a few honest thoughts to help you decide what's right for you and your business. And I will also share some practical tips to make it work for you and not against you. But before we dive in, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to tune in, to show up and be heard. The podcast exists to help women like you simplify your business and your life so that you can stop feeling so overwhelmed. I'm your host, Becky McAvoy, owner and founder of Be Heard Socials, and I am an award-winning social media marketer and international speaker who specialises in content strategy and organic growth on social media. Through this podcast, as well as my own social media, email community, and my award-winning membership, the Boss Your Socials Club, my mission is to cut through the noise and overwhelm that so often comes with running a business and being a woman, juggling multiple priorities and spinning all the plates. So if you want practical, no BS advice that makes social media marketing, running a business and life feel more simple, doable and actually effective, or if you're looking for a supportive space where women-owned businesses can feel seen, heard and inspired to grow on their own terms, then you are in exactly the right place. To get more tips like the ones you hear in this podcast, make sure you join my email community through the link in the show notes. Right then, let's get started with this week's episode. Okay, so before I say anything else, I want to be really clear that the summer slowdown is real, and I'm a big advocate of embracing that, which you will well know if you have listened for a while or followed me over on my socials for a while. And I'm also a huge advocate for taking a proper break during this time. So this episode is absolutely not about putting guilt or pressure on or making you think that you should be doing things that you haven't got time to do or anything like that. I'm also not going to pretend that it's not completely normal for engagement to dip in the summer months and that can be really frustrating. People are on holidays, routines are out of the window, and frankly, we are probably all trying to hopefully enjoy a bit of sunshine or juggle the chaos of the school holidays. However, that doesn't mean that showing up isn't worth it, and it doesn't mean that posting content over the summer isn't worth it. And that's what I want to use this episode for, to explain why and how you can do that in a way that doesn't add a load of pressure to you or overwhelm you. So, first thing I want to talk about is why posting content still counts during the summer, even though engagement can dip, even though it can be a bit quieter, and even though you might want to take a break, or hopefully will be taking a break. So, firstly, it helps keep you in rhythm and a little bit of routine, not a rigid schedule, not a you must post 4 times a week or you must post as often and show up as often as you do during other times of the year kind of rhythm, but just a gentle sense of visibility, a reminder to your audience that you are still here and you are still in business, even if you might be off during that time. And the thing is that keeping that rhythm matters, because when you stop completely and then try to start again, it often takes longer to get back into it. The algorithm can take time to catch up. Your audience can take a while to re-engage. And you might feel a bit stuck or sluggish trying to get going again. So having a light, steady presence over summer helps you hit the ground running much faster. And it means you're ready to go full steam again in September when you are back from your holidays or your break and you're refreshed, or whenever it might be that you're coming back. It might not be at the beginning of September. It might be mid-September or October, but it means that you hit the ground running then, rather than having that slow, sluggish start and taking a while to get back into it. The second reason that it still matters is that whilst engagement can dip, there are still loads of people scrolling, like literally thousands, hundreds of thousands of people scrolling. When you think about the amount of people that use social media every day, and you think about how you use social media in the summer months, it might be different to how you use it other times, but you are probably still using it at least at some point during that time. In fact, sometimes people are on their phones more because they are on the beach, they're by the pool, or they're hiding from their kids in the loo, which is probably where you'll find me. So while engagement might dip, the number of eyes on your content doesn't necessarily disappear, and it is still a great way to get out in front of people. Plus, because so many other businesses can go quite quiet during this time, your post can actually stand out more. There's less noise to compete with, and that can make your content even more likely to be seen by the people that you want to get in front of. which is amazing. And it does just keep that quiet sense of visibility. So somebody said to me last year, I think it was like early September time, and I was like, oh, I'm coming back, I'm getting into the flow of it. And they were like, oh, I don't even feel like you've had a holiday or a break. Like, I've seen you loads. But actually, I'd taken 3 weeks of August off, and a week of that, I'd actually deleted the social media apps from my phone. So I hadn't been present on the, well, I mean, I've been present in other areas of my life, but as far as the people who followed me or my audience were concerned, I'd still been visible. They'd still seen my face. I'd still stayed in their minds. And that is really important and wonderful when actually somebody says that and you're like, oh, amazing, because I've been off for 3 weeks. So yeah, it can actually help you stand out more because so many people do take a break over that time. And the final reason that I'm going to give in this episode that it really matters is, and this is something that's really important to know, the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, has said that one of the biggest things that affects your long-term reach is big gaps in posting. Now, this isn't some kind of conspiracy theory. It's not because you're being punished or anything dramatic like that. He has explained that it's because the algorithm has less data about you and what you post about. So it makes it harder for Instagram to rank your content, and it takes time for it to relearn your audience again. Now, this is frustrating, but also when you think about it, it's quite understandable. The algorithm is dealing with like a shed ton of information every single day. So if you then go with big gaps in posting, a lot of that hard work that you've put in for the algorithm to learn a little bit about you can almost go to waste because you have to start again. So that's a really important one of like just keeping a little bit of visibility over the summer helps just keep in check with the algorithm and not, help you take one step forward and 2 steps backwards. So even if you're just repurposing older posts or popping up once or twice a week with something really low effort, posting over the summer can really help keep that momentum ticking over whilst you are hopefully offline and enjoying a break. Which leads me into the next thing that I want to talk about, that showing up over the summer doesn't have to be a full-time job. It isn't about overhauling your strategy or launching something new in the middle of summer madness, unless you want it to be, of course. I'm not saying that you don't do that, because absolutely that can be a good thing if that's what you want. But if what you want is to be able to take a break, this isn't about like selling. It's not about launching new things. It's not about, hitting massive numbers or anything like that, unless you want it to be. It can be as simple as recycling, repurposing some older posts, scheduling a few light touches, like a few light touch updates, or sharing some behind the scenes stories that don't take loads of time or energy and can be quite quick to create. And also, I've sort of touched on this, but I think I really want to emphasize this because this bit's really important. Showing up doesn't actually mean you have to be online. So you think about that story that I just gave. I'd taken 3 weeks of August off. And like I said, one of those weeks we'd gone camping. This was last year. And I actually deleted my social media from my phone because I wanted a real break. I was feeling quite overwhelmed. I wanted a proper break from, but I was actually still showing up over that time. So it doesn't mean you have to be online. You can batch some posts in advance. You can then schedule them, and then you can log off and enjoy your time off. Because, and I will preach about this till the end of time, despite what anybody says, it is not about being constantly available. In fact, that is the quickest way to burnout. And it's one of the biggest boundaries that I recommend having, is working hours, taking breaks, all that kind of thing, but doing it in a way that doesn't, like I said, detriment all the hard work that you've put in at other times of year. So it's not about being constantly available. It is about creating content that works for you. If you don't want to be online in August, don't post content that requires you to be in the comments or replying to DMs. Post things that explain where you are, what you're doing, and when people can expect to hear from you again. That way you are managing expectations and staying visible without feeling tied to your phone. Or you can post, like value-based content that might be encouraging people to save it. It can be selling content, directing people to old episodes of a podcast or to blogs or to your products or services, if they can do that whilst you're away, or to a wait list that when you get back, you will be back in touch with them. So that way, by posting content like that, you're managing expectations and you're staying visible without feeling tied to your phone, like I said, which is amazing. It could also be, depending on sort of where you're at and what you want to do, it could be a great time to experiment. So you could post some fun content, some content that's a little bit different or a bit more personal. People are often in a slower headspace themselves. So connection-based content can really land well. So you can post content that just builds that sort of builds that helps people get to know you. And like I said, do think about whether you're able, like if you're posting content that encourages comments, you do want to be able to reply to that. So if you do want to be offline, just make it so that, the post could encourage likes or different things. But that connection-based content can be really nice over August. And the other lovely thing is that your visibility adds up in people's minds, even when they are not engaging. And remember, there can be all kinds of reasons that they're not engaging. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's because they're not seeing your content. It could be, and I think this is like a prime one for me. It could be that I've seen some content, really liked it, and then my child has shouted for another snack and I've forgotten all about it. And by the time I look back on my phone, it's refreshed and it's gone, but I have seen that content. So like I said, that is the really lovely thing about staying visible over those summer months, because there is something really powerful about staying subtly on their radar. That gentle familiarity builds trust over time. So when September does come around, you're not starting from zero, like I said earlier. You've been there consistently showing up in small ways, and that can make a big difference when people are ready to take action again. And also, it might be that you quite often post stories, but you decide not to do that over the summer, and that's okay, because you've just got that gentle visibility going out through your posts. If you've got time, the bare minimum you could do with stories is just share your post to stories. But actually, if you can't, that's okay. Like, yes, that might mean you get slightly less reach by not posting, like sharing your post to stories or whatever, but that isn't necessarily your goal. So remember what your goal is. If your goal is just to stay in people's minds, don't then look at how much reach you got over August. I track my analytics year round, and every year my reach and engagement drops in August, and I just look at that and go, well, that's all right, because I was off for 3 weeks. But my content is going out there, and I get comments like, oh, I saw, this, that, and the other. So it shows that I'm staying present in people's minds. So, if you are approaching summer and wanting to take a break, think of it as like the soft season. So soften your expectations, be softer to yourself, be kinder to yourself, soften your approach, but don't disappear completely unless that's what you really want. Because, if that is what you really want, at the end of the day, it is your business. And if switching off from socials completely is what feels right for your mental health, your family, or your life, then that is more than valid. It is about doing what feels good, not what feels forced. But what I hope this episode is going to do, and the reason that I did it, is there are ways to stay visible without having to constantly be online, constantly be available, and put hours into showing up. So if you can, try and block out a few hours in the next couple of weeks to get some content batched and scheduled. So this episode is going out at the start of July. If you are going into summer holidays, and we've got 2, maybe 3 weeks, depending on your school term, before the schools break up. So if you can, try and block out a few hours in that time to get some content batched and scheduled, and you can start or keep that visibility ticking over during the summer. And like I said right at the very beginning of this episode, it is not about getting 4 posts out a week. Like, think about how much time you've got over the next few weeks and how long it takes you to create content. And if in that time you can create 4 posts, then just get out 1 post a week, because that is better than getting out nothing. Even the smallest efforts can plant those seeds for later, and they can keep you present in people's minds. So be realistic with yourself. Think about what you can create, and just remember that getting something together is better than going a month without having anything out there and then having to start again in September. And the beauty of content is that it doesn't have to go viral or get loads of likes to be working. Sometimes just showing up quietly, imperfectly, is more than enough. And remembering what your goal is. So if your reach and engagement does drop, that's okay, because if your goal was just to get 1 or 2 posts out a week, and you did that because you stayed present, the algorithm didn't forget about you, then you've achieved your goal. So keep that in mind. Like, set that goal for yourself, and then don't measure your success against any other metrics other than the goal that you'd set for yourself. So if you have been feeling a bit wobbly about the summer holidays approaching or August approaching, and worrying about whether to keep creating content over the summer or whether it's worth it, I hope that this quite short episode actually for me has given you a little bit of clarity, or at the very least some reassurance that there is no one size fits all approach, and it's not about getting those 4 posts out a week or doing what you normally do necessarily. It is about doing what works for you. And obviously, if you would like some extra support, I do have a few things that might help. So whether you are after something totally free, or you're ready to dive in a bit deeper and, maybe want to invest in something, then I have some options for you. You are, of course, always welcome to join us inside the Boss Your Socials Club, where you will get a content plan. So that will take that mental load off of you, of having to think about what to post, and where we also have our accountability and action sessions, which is where we block out time and create that content together. And there is science about why this stuff works. Like, honestly, I am so much more productive when I do it around other people. So our accountability and action sessions this month are on the 8th of July and the 14th of July. So perfect if you want some motivation, some structure, or just a bit of company while you get some stuff done. I would love you to come join us. I will put the link in the show notes to find out more about Boss Your Socials Club, and to sign up if you want to. I would absolutely love that. Or I also have a free download with 20 content ideas. So again, it can take that mental load away of what to post. Plus, I also have a blog post on how to take a proper break from your socials without ghosting your audience over the summer. So I will pop the links to both of those in the show notes for you as well. That is all from me for this week. But before you do go, I would love to ask you a little favour. If you have found this episode helpful, or if you listen often and you find these episodes helpful, would you please mind leaving a quick review for the podcast? It really does make such a difference, not just to me, but to helping more women like you find the support and reassurance that they need to. So I would really love it if you could. You can do that on any platform you are on. The main ones are Spotify. You can hopefully give me 5 shiny stars. And you can also leave comments on episodes. And on Apple, you can hopefully, again, leave me 5 shiny stars. And I would really love it if you wrote a little review, just a few words to say why you love the podcast. Honestly, it would mean the absolute world to me. So if you can do that, I would love that. Thank you very much. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am truly grateful for your time and your energy today. I know that you've got a million things on your plate, and the fact that you're here investing your time into something that will help your business and your socials grow is something I am really proud of you for. Before you go though, if you love this podcast and you're a woman running a small business who wants to make social media easier and business life less lonely, I've got something for you that I want to tell you a little bit more about. The Boss Your Socials Club is here to bring you inspiration, accountability, confidence, and community. It's a place where we ban the word should, because we believe in bespoke advice that will work for you, your circumstances, your life, and your business. As a member, you get a clear content plan every month, ready to use templates, and the accountability to actually show up. Plus, you'll have expert support and a community of incredible women who get it and who want to cheer you on and support you in your business journey. And we all need a bit of that. Think of it like having a teeny tiny social media marketing expert in your pocket, giving you the knowledge and the assurance when it comes to posting great, engaging content on your social media platforms and showing up in a way that grows your business without the overwhelm, and with a community of women cheering you on. Whether you're just getting started or looking to take your social media to the next level, Boss Your Socials Club has everything you need. You can join from just £24 a month, or save with an annual membership, which is £240 for the year, so you get 2 months free. Thank you again for being here today, and I can't wait to catch you in the next episode. Until then, keep showing up, and please always remember, realising that you're not actually meant to do this stuff alone is the first step to making it easier. So I'll see you next time.